So, you want to read Umineko? And you do want to read Umineko. Do you enjoy mysteries? Do you crave horror? Do you delight in melodrama? Do you long for stories that dwell on the nature of stories? For the uninitiated, Umineko no naku koro ni, or When the Seagulls Cry, is a visual novel that centers on a series of murders that take place during the Ushiromiya family conference on their private island of Rokenjima during October 4th and 5th, 1986. Umineko is the second series of Rikishi Yoseven's When They Cry games. While the When They Cry games share themes and some narrative approaches, they each function individually. There are some interesting through lines between the games, but you don't have to read them in any particular order. Like Higurashi no naku koro ni before it, Umineko is split in 8 episodes. The first 4 make up the question arc, and the last 4 make up the answer arc. The series was originally released in Japan between 2007 and 2010, with each episode released for each subsequent summer and winter comic hit until the series wrapped in December 2010. Luckily for English-speaking fans, fan translations by the group Witch Hunt were typically released between 6 months to a year after the initial Japanese release, with the fan translation of the final episode released in 2011. Later, the same team was hired by Rikishi's company, 07th Expansion, to translate the official localization, which was released to Steam in 2017. The first thing most people bring up about Umineko these days is its length. I'm not going to belabor the point. Umineko is long. But, and I mean this honestly, don't worry about the length. Don't let the length of the series be the reason that you don't start. The series is separated into individual episodes for a reason. If you focus on reading the first 4 episodes, the rest will go by quick. In fact, I would recommend pushing back against the impulse to binge read the series. Instead, approach each episode one at a time. Umineko is a story that is designed to be solved, and in some sense its length serves as a runway to allow you the time and the space to develop theories and come to your own conclusions. With that said, I will admit that the first episode does take some time to pick up. There are a lot of new characters to meet and family dynamics to establish. So with this video, I hope to at least give you a head start on the elements that are established in Volume 1 and prepare you on what you can expect as you dive further into the series. At the center of this family drama is its patriarch, Ushiromiya Kenzo. Despite being close to the end of his life, he has left the state of the family inheritance unclear. He has spent the last few years locked up in his private study, dedicating his time to a study of the occult. His 4 adult children are Kraus, Ava, Rudolph, and Rosa. Our protagonist, Battler, is the son of Kinzo's 3rd child, Rudolph. Battler abandoned the family name 6 years ago, following Battler's mother's death, when his father quickly remarried his business partner, Kyrie. Since then, Battler has been living with his maternal grandparents and using his mother's maiden name. However, his grandparents have recently passed away, and Rudolph and Battler have started to reconcile. As the protagonist, Battler is playful and energetic, very open about his emotions and deeply empathetic to those around him. He has the unfortunate habit of pretending to grope girls he meets as an easy icebreaker, but please be patient with him. He is actually one of the best visual novel protagonists of all time. Let's return to Kinzo's other children. Kraus is the eldest son. He functions as a successor to Kinzo and lives on Rokenjima with his wife Natsuhi and their daughter. Natsuhi runs the Ushiromiya mansion, but because she married into the family, she is often at odds with the other family members. Meanwhile, their daughter Jessica has a carefree and boisterous personality that often puts her at odds with her parents, and her mother in particular. Ava is the second eldest and has always had ambitions of taking over the family head instead of her older brother. When she married her husband Hideyoshi, he agreed to take her family name, which kept their family within the line of succession. Since her son George was born, she has been vying for him to be placed as a successor as the eldest of Kinzo's grandchildren. George is well-mannered and is the only one of the cousins who has fully crossed over into adulthood. Because of this, he often functions as mediator when there's tension between the adults and his cousins. Rosa is the youngest of Kinzo's children and is often at a disadvantage compared to her siblings. Her daughter Maria is the youngest of the grandchildren. Unlike the rest of her siblings, Rosa is unmarried and the whereabouts of Maria's father are unknown. Maria herself is childish and playful. She's obsessed with witches and magic and loves talking about it. Let's move on to the servants of Rokenjima, starting with Genji, who is Kinzo's most trusted servant. He is quiet and dedicated and unquestionably fulfills Kinzo's requests. The young servants Shannon and Cannon are among a number of servants employed through the orphanage that the Ushiromiya family funds. Unknown to the rest of the family, George and Shannon have been dating in secret, and George has come to the family conference today intending to propose to her. Cannon is highly critical of their relationship, despite also having developed feelings for Jessica. Also in attendance at the family conference is Kinzo's close friend, Dr. Inajo. He is concerned about Kinzo's health, but hasn't had much success in getting him to make healthier choices or to establish a will that will determine his inheritance after his death. Then there's the playful Kumasawa. She has served the family for a long time, but has quit and returned several times. She is loved by the children, but considered a bit unreliable by the adults. Goda, the family chef, is the most recent employee. He is very talented, but a bit bitter about the fact that some of the younger servants are technically higher ranked than him, and he has a habit of taking it out on them. Now to dive more into what exactly is happening at this family conference. As the family members are gathering to the island for the family conference, they play nice in front of the kids, but as soon as the kids are sent off to play, it quickly becomes clear that there is some real tension among Kinzo's children when it comes to money. Ava, Rudolph, and Rosa are convinced that Kraus has been embezzling Kinzo's money. He put a lot of money into his plan to turn Rokkenjima into a resort location, but so far has seen no profit on his investment. Kraus is convinced that an economic boom is right around the corner, and technically he is not wrong. Kraus's siblings have made a plan to blackmail Kraus into paying them off, but unfortunately for them, Kraus has been keeping tabs on them as well, and he knows that they are all much more desperate than they pretend to be. Each one of them needs money, and soon, or they risk losing their livelihoods. Ava's husband, Hideyoshi, just recently went public with his successful restaurant chain, but the shares have been bought out by people who intend to push him out of the company. Rudolph is being sued by an overseas company for his illegal business practices. Rosa had co-signed a loan with Maria's father, and with him lost to the wind, has been saddled with the debt. During this discussion, mention is made of the legend of the Ushiromiya family gold. According to Kinzo, he was gifted a full ton of gold by the Golden Witch, Beatrice, which helped him rebuild the Ushiromiya family after World War II. Battler is surprised to see a giant portrait of the witch that hadn't been there when he was a kid. The other family members explain that Kinzo placed the portrait and an epitaph in the mansion without explanation a few years ago. The phrasing of the epitaph is mysterious, and many of the family members suspect that it is a riddle, and that Kinzo will grant successorship to whichever family member solves it. However, even Kinzo's children aren't sure if the legend of the gold is real, or the true nature of the mysterious witch, Beatrice. What is the epitaph? Is it a map to find the hidden family gold? Or is it a bloody ceremony to summon Kinzo's beloved witch? After the family is gathered together for dinner, Maria excitedly announces that she has a letter to share given to her by Beatrice herself. In the letter, Beatrice declares that she will be taking the family gold with interest unless one of them manages to solve the epitaph. From here, the mystery challenge has begun. Who gave Maria the letter? Is this mysterious Beatrice actually on the island? Or is someone using her name to manipulate the family conference? Tensions reach a new high after the announcement from Beatrice, with the adults struggling to understand this new shift in the debate about the inheritance. With that, the first night on Rokkenjima closes. When dawn arrives the next day, 6 people will be found dead. The basic setup of each Umineko episode is this. Starting at midnight, a series of murders will be conducted following the pattern presented in Kinzo's epitaph. Throughout episode 1, the witch Beatrice remains just out of sight, leaving gruesome corpses and mysterious circumstances to be found across the mansion. It is only as midnight approaches on the second day that she reveals herself, descending on Rokenjima in her newly summoned form. From here, the narrative shifts. Episode 2 starts as a challenge between Battler and Beatrice. Battler has refused to accept magic as the cause for these murders and rejects the existence of Beatrice herself. However, Beatrice needs the acceptance of everyone on Rokenjima, including Battler, to finally enter the Golden Land, the place of resurrection mentioned at the end of Kinzo's epitaph. Beatrice spins a new tale of the family conference of 1986 and challenges Battler to prove that these murders can be done with human hands and not, as she claims, with magic. Each episode of the question arc presents a new version of events, with new mysteries to puzzle through. With each subsequent episode, magic descends further onto Rokenjima, and it can be hard to differentiate between what is real and what is narrative embellishment. Throughout the series, Beatrice tells Battler not to stop thinking. She is eager for a rival who will go toe-to-toe with her and make her game worthwhile. This request also extends to you. It is entirely possible to engage with Umineko by sitting back and absorbing the story as it is told to you. You are the only one who can decide how you will engage with this story. But Umineko asks you to try, to reason things out, to pull your hair when it gets frustrating, to lavish in excitement when a new idea dawns on you. You can choose not to engage with it that way, but isn't that such a shame? To help Battler, and you, make progress in solving the mysteries, Beatrice introduces two game elements. First is the red truth. Everything that Beatrice states in red is true. Or, technically true, the red truth can be a very helpful tool, but don't take it at face value. Don't stop thinking. Battler is also given the ability of the blue truth. This allows him to state his theories in blue, which Beatrice must counter by the end of the game. As you read through the question arc, reason out whose account you trust and whose you doubt. When magic takes over the screen, consider, could the same result be accomplished without magic? How? Beatrice will go head-to-head with you if you take your place across from her on the game board. Up to this point, I haven't specified trigger warnings for this series. For the most part, I am wary of going too in-depth so that I don't inadvertently direct your expectations about where the mystery is heading. However, I do think it is important to go into Umineko prepared for one aspect, and that is the child abuse that Maria is subjected to by her mother, Rosa. This element is present and on screen from fairly early on in episode 1, and is focused on more explicitly in episodes 2 and 4. There are also other themes of abuse present within Umineko's narrative. If you have any particular content that you're hoping to avoid, particularly if it has to do with family dynamics, and if you happen to know someone who has already read Umineko, ask them to give you some guidance before you proceed. Throughout this video, I've been using Rikishio 7's original sprites, but it is worth noting that there are two other versions. The Steam version includes both the original sprites and new sprites, which are colloquially called the pachinko sprites, because that's literally where they come from. The sprites from the PlayStation 3 release are also very popular. There's a fan project that allows you to mod the Steam version with PS3 sprites and voice acting. Genuinely, I think each version has its own charm. Though, as someone who read the series in its original format, I do think something is lost in the translation from Rikishi's sprites to the more sleek art of the other two. Ultimately, it's up to you which would give you the best experience. Finally, if you are interested in hearing more about my feelings and observations about Umineko, I have a podcast. It is called Say It in Red, a podcast about visual novels. Back in 2021, my co-host Runa and I guided 2 of our friends through reading Umineko for the first time. So if you want to follow along with our episodes as you read through Umineko, it may help you with your own reasoning and theory developing. And if at the end you still need some guidance, go read the manga. Then, just for fun, maybe check out the stage play performances. In the meantime, thank you for spending your precious time with me. Oh. Well, I hope she enjoyed them.